Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Activist Collective. This is episode 9. Lots to discuss. I had to redo this, so this may come out a day late, and I apologize for that. But when I actually recorded one before this, and when I rewatched it, I was a little upset with myself for the amount of fucks I used. I was so angry. So I'm going to try to lower the tone. Okay, friends? The reason that I do this podcast is because I can say what needs to be said. You can say things like Putin and Russia and Nazi and I can swear, but sometimes I think my anger gets the best of me and I say a little too many curses and it might put people off. So I'm redoing this one today in the hopes that I can keep my cool. I first want to discuss the giant elephant in the room, which is the Oval Office debacle with President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. His entire purpose for being there was to obviously thank the American people and sign a rare earth minerals deal that the United States could get from their land. And I'll remind you that because of tariffs, China has stopped the sale of certain minerals that we need to make all sorts of things. And that is probably what they're after in Ukraine. So when they pulled him into the Oval Office, from what I hear, that was an unscheduled thing. That meeting was not on the list of things they had to do. The people that were behind the couch, the reporters, a lot were not reporters, but just people in the cabinet. It was completely a setup and an ambush and done for the benefit of Vladimir Putin. Watching the president of the United States and his vice president bully a wartime president of our allied country was not close to, it was the absolute most disgraceful thing that ever happened within the walls of the White House. I feel sick every time I think about it and every time I see a clip of it. Watching people around the world react to it with, real emotion, real raw emotion. I don't think I'll ever be able to get over that. And when people say, you just don't like Trump because of the news and the media. No, friends, we see what he does. We don't have to watch the media. We can turn on the TV and see the horrible person that he really is. He is a horrible, no good, low life. He's a rich man with an enormous ego and the thinnest skin of any man alive. And that makes for a terrible combination when you are the president of the United States. So, for anybody who watches me from around the world, in Europe, in Ukraine, in Canada, I want you to understand that anybody who is not a cult member of the Trump cult feels sick and sorry, disgusted for what happened. We're sorry that that man sits in the White House today, and I will tell you this as well. Very few of us actually believe that that was a legitimately won election. Elon Musk was involved, Starlink was involved, Russia was involved, bomb threats were involved, purging of voters from the voter rolls was involved. When people asked who were purged, when people who were purged asked for a provisional ballot, provisional ballots were cast out by the hundreds of thousands. The presidency was called before like midnight, which doesn't ever happen. Never happens. They had everything tabulated and counted. Listen, I don't need to go through it. There's a group on YouTube and on TikTok. And I'll try to put up the name of that. Pull it up for you. Hold please while I do that. Friends, the name of that group is called Election Truth Alliance, and they are doing phenomenal work. You can find them on TikTok now and as well as YouTube. So they're finding some crazy things that I don't know if it's going to make you happy or piss you off, to be quite honest with you. But what I do know is what happened that day on election day was the shadiest thing I've ever seen in my adult life as a voting American, as a politically involved American. So again, the majority of America does not agree with what happened that day. We're disgusted by it. We stand with Ukraine. We stand with Europe. We stand with Canada. We stand with Mexico. We disagree with the tariffs. We disagree with all of it. All of it, all of it, all of it. The majority of us stand with you. So please know that. And you have allies here, many allies here. I don't know what's going to happen from this point forward. I don't know how we go about protecting democracy. A lot of us are really pissed at Biden. I'll be quite honest. He was given the same immunity that Donald Trump was given in July of 2024, and he did nothing. They started the No Kings Act law, and they couldn't get that passed. They used it to raise a bunch of money for the Democratic Party, but they didn't get that bill passed. And there's no chance of that happening anymore. No chance. The only chance we have is reaching out to Republicans and getting them to have a change of heart, getting them to see that what they're doing is going to follow them and their families through their bloodline onto their ancestors, their future ancestors for the rest of their lives. They're going to be known for this and what they're doing, and they have to come to terms with that. Are they okay with that? I know that Mike Johnson believes that this is a calling from God, and that's why he's here. But for the rest of us and the rest of you, anybody who sees this, you better find your backbone. Your kids have to live here. Is this what you want them living in? I digress. Let's move on. The State of the Union address. I will be transparent with you. I did not watch it. And I didn't watch it because I feel I have PTSD from Donald Trump from January 6th. And then again, the trauma of watching all of these horrible people get released from prison, only for them to run around committing crimes, getting themselves killed by the police. I mean, these people are bad people. A lot of them got put away for their length of time because of their history of criminal charges, not just because of what they did on January 6th. Judges take into account your criminal past. And a lot of these people, most of these people who got jail time have violent criminal pasts, which is why their length of time was so long. Their jail times were so long. The State of the Union address. Very little time was spent on the economy, and that is because he doesn't know what to do and has no intention on doing anything with it right now. That's not in Project 2025. Do you understand that he's following that to the letter? The people who tell him what to do, what to sign, what to type, what to get in front of, what to get behind, the people behind that is the Heritage Foundation. They have a mandate for him that he must follow, and it's called Project 2025. Within that is a 180-day playbook to fast track the most egregious of those laws and those mandates. And that's what they're doing now, which is why everyone's like, what is going on? Why is this happening so fast? Because of that 180-day playbook, they've got to get a lot done if they want to stay on track with Project 2025. Anyway, the State of the Union address, he did not talk much about the economy because there's nothing planned for that. The rest of it was just patting himself on the back. I do want to talk about the attendance of the people at SOTU, which Democrats did go. And this is where I had to stop and listen to myself. I got very angry, and this is where I had to record the whole thing. I've been watching online all day as Republicans, mostly over on YouTube, hiding behind fake profiles, fake names, but they continued calling Democrats babies, childish, saying, "Oh, the Bank of America's closed and they're pissed." Honey, let me remind you of something. At every single SOTU that Biden did, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert arrived looking like clowns, acting like clowns through the entirety of the address to the nation. Standing up, yelling, jeering, shouting, booing, screaming, "Liars!" the whole time. And should Biden have had her removed? Yep. But Biden stood for democracy and freedom of speech, and he allowed that dumb bitch to stay. And I'm saying it because she is a dumb bitch. But Al Green stood up and said, "You don't have a mandate." And that was all it took. Get him out of here. And they took him out, and he left willingly. So when I see Hakeem Jeffries going, "We're not going to stand for this. We need to stand strong." Well, what are you talking about? You're not standing strong on anything, Hakeem. You guys are folding like a cheap suit. You're just folding. And it's starting to get real hard for people like me and people who listen to me and my friends and my family who've been fighting for democracy for a long time. It's hard to give you our support when we see real strong words and no action. So I will say the F word right now when I say fuck MAGA, fuck Trump, fuck the State of the Union address. That was a waste of everybody's time. I thank the Democrats who held up the little, they looked like bidding signs when you go to auctions, and they just said false. False. Every time that man lied, just Democratic hands up. Poosh. All at once. So when the Republicans called us childish and all those other names, let me remind you, friends, once again, because you seem to have short-term memory, you guys acted like fucking ass clowns the entire time at every State of the Union that Biden did. Every single one. You made up problems that didn't exist in the world to piss yourselves off because you wanted to be angry. You created a world in your head that was in turmoil, even though the GDP rose every single quarter under Biden. Every single quarter. Inflation hit a high, he brought it down. Job growth every single quarter. And you guys just couldn't see through those things. To break free from your cult, you couldn't see through them. And for that, fuck you too. You just wanted to be racist Nazis, angry motherfuckers, and more. I guess that's who you are now. Just fucking pissed off Nazis for no fucking reason. Hey friends, I had to take a short break, but welcome back. We have some breaking news just coming in. Representative Sylvester Turner, a Texas Democrat, died Tuesday night. He was only 3 months into his term. He was the mayor. Let me see here. Bear with me, friends. Sorry. He was the mayor of Houston from 2016 to 2014. Before that, he had graduated from Harvard Law School, worked as an attorney, served more than a quarter century as a state lawmaker. He attended Trump's SOTU speech last night. And then he had a medical emergency in the tunnel that connects the two, and he died. I'm so sorry to his family. This is terrible. That's absolutely sad. And I mean, let's get down to the business of it. This means we're going to have another special election and hope like hell that the Democrats win it. Hope like hell that the Democrats win it. So, if you live in his district and you have a yearning, a passion to run for office, if you're a Democrat or an independent, there's your opportunity to jump in. Very sorry to his family. He had suffered many health issues in his long life. He was 70 years old. That's very sad. Our country is in turmoil. I don't think I even need to say that for you to understand the sadness that is enveloping this country. Watching our Republican counterparts side with a man who has been a sworn enemy of the United States since forever, since literally forever. Watching them side with him and say, oh, he's not so bad. He's not so bad. Makes my blood boil. Now, I want you guys to also remember when you're online and you see comments like that, many times these are bots. I believe Russia got caught in another bot thing over on Twitter. If you guys recall, last summer it happened. They were making the bot say, whatever they wanted it to say, and it was a big joke, haha. But it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. The Russian propaganda is only going to get worse from this point forward. So we need to be on our toes, educating people, making sure that when we respond to these things, we are not responding to it as it's a person, because a lot of times they're bots. I know that we're sad, friends. I know that we are in a place where our hands are tied. But the one thing that we can do is to continue calling our Republican representatives. And I say Republican because those are the minds we have to flip. We have to get them to understand what they're doing. It eventually will backfire on them as well. So continue, please, calling your Republican representatives when they do these. And on that note, you need to know that the Republican National chairman, forget his name now, but he told all Republicans you're no longer having in-person town halls because they're being, you're being bombarded with Democratic operatives, which is not true, friends. The people attending these town halls are Republicans. Some Democrats, yes, but many are Republicans. These are in red areas. Democrats aren't driving 100 miles outside into the country to come and talk to these people. These are from their districts, concerned about the mass firings of veterans, of nurses, of people in the IRS, of stopping funding for farm aids and bills, and people are afraid. And these are really Republican voters. So they're not just pissing us off. Now they're pissing off people who didn't think that this would hit them too. So I want you guys to know that we are in this together. No matter what it looks like, we do have each other. So I always tell you guys to reach out and find community. So please do that. Hold while I grab some information, okay? This just in as well, some news from the Associated Press. According to a memo leaked, the Trump administration plans to cut 80,000 employees from the VA. Oh man, this is terrible. The VA's chief of staff, Christopher Cyrick. Hold please. I'm so sorry. Christopher Cyrick told top-level officials at the agency that it has an objective to cut enough employees to return to 2019 staffing levels. That would be just under 400,000 employees. That would require terminating tens of thousands of employees after the VA expanded during Biden to cover veterans who were impacted by burn pits under the 2022 PACT Act. The memo instructs top-level staff to prepare for an agency-wide reorganization in August to resize and tailor the workforce to the mission and revised structure. It also calls for agency officials to work with the White House Department of Government Efficiency to move out aggressively while taking a pragmatic and disciplined approach to the Trump administration. Listen, I have never in my life seen a president, someone with smarts, cognitive thinking skills, and the ability to reason. I've never seen a president just throw out blanket laws. No more of this. We're firing all of this, and you're all gone. And then go, oh shit, we fucked up. We're gonna call those guys back and only tariffs on everybody. But no, not tariffs. Tariffs not on the auto workers, the auto industry, because that would be bad. And maybe just rolling back a little bit on that. And I mean, the ridiculousness of that. It looks so unprofessional. It looks so just patchworked. You know, it's so bad. It looks so terrible. So right now, let me go back to where I was. China is gearing up for their retaliatory tariffs on us. The stock market surged on Wednesday, today, after the Trump administration granted automakers a 1-month exemption from tariffs imposed a day earlier. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 550 points. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said President Trump has ordered the delay of auto tariffs after a request from the Big Three. The president is giving them exemption for 1 month so they're not at an economic disadvantage. Tariffs are expected to pose a challenge for automakers, many of which depend on supply chain intertwined with Canada and Mexico. Trump said he held a call with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Wednesday, during which the two leaders discussed a path to U.S. withdrawal of the tariffs. Friends, the tariffs on Canada, I don't know how to explain how dumb that fucking is. Really. Really. Like for China, I'm not even trying to justify it, but I could maybe think of a reason for why he's doing that. 0.2%? 0.2% of immigrants come through the United States via Canada. 0.2. And the drug levels are even lower. This is just to be a dickhead. This is just to be a dick. To fuck over another economy, including our own. It makes zero sense to put tariffs like this on Canada with the reasoning that we'll take them off when you stop the immigration or the illegal immigration coming through, the illegal fentanyl coming through. We just, the levels at which that is happening from Canada's border to ours is stupid. It's barely anything. A week ago, Trump alleged that illicit drugs such as fentanyl had continued to enter the U.S. through Mexico and Canada, despite agreements reached last month to address the issue. And they have. Mexico and Canada did what he asked. Canada had a plan to do it before that fucking orange fuck took office. Sorry. Trying not to swear as much. Trudeau said that it had gotten better, But I said, that's not good enough. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner, Trump said. Since September, nearly all fentanyl seized by the U.S. came through the southern border with Mexico, according to U.S. Customs. Less than 1% of fentanyl was seized from the northern border of Canada. So less than 1%. Do you see? None of this makes any sense, what he's doing. With China, yes, a lot of fentanyl comes from there. It's coming from there through Mexico. But they are doing something about it. It's not like they didn't answer his wishes. He absolutely did. Next on our list, the Supreme Court. The illegitimate bought and paid for illegitimate Supreme Court ordered that the Trump administration unfreeze foreign aid payments. A sharply divided Supreme Court on Wednesday ruled the Trump administration must comply with the district court order because the order, anyway, must pay out nearly $2 billion in foreign assistance funds to nonprofit aid groups for work already completed on the government's behalf. We told you that fucking man doesn't pay workers. We told you. They do the work. He refuses to cut the check. That is why he is so hated in New York. Every contractor that has ever used that man hates him because he has fucked them over so bad. The court ruled 5-4 with Chief Justice John Roberts and Coney Barrett siding with, it says the liberal justices, but siding with the right thing to fucking do. The liberal justices are just doing the right thing. The court did not elaborate on the decision, but said the district court judge should clarify what obligations the government must fulfill to ensure compliance with the temporary restraining order. The lower court judge is currently weighing whether or not to impose a longer-term preliminary injunction against the foreign aid freeze. Justice Samuel Alito said in his dissent that he was stunned by the majority's decision. Fuck you, Alito. Fuck you. These, if I could say that to your face, oh my God, I would do it with so much passion. With so much passion. He said this. Does a single district court judge who likely lacks jurisdiction have the unchecked power to compel the government of the United States to pay out and probably lose forever $2 billion taxpayer dollars? The answer to that question should be an emphatic no, but a majority of these courts apparently think otherwise, he wrote. This was assigned by our fucking Congress. This wasn't just Biden writing blank checks, you guys. Congress approved with Republican and MAGA approval. And Alito is over here saying, fuck whatever Congress said. The government, Trump, should be able to say what gets paid and what doesn't get paid before he stepped into that White House. Before. And Alito is supposed to be a smart man, and he is playing a fucking con game with the American people. Sorry, I'm getting angry again, so the F-bombs are coming out. Samuel Alito, you're a piece of garbage. Bought and paid for piece of trash. The people who did work for the government must be paid. The money promised to whatever we promised it to with congressional approval before you stepped into office must be paid. And those are my tax dollars too. Those are mine, and MAGA acts like it's all theirs. Fuck you. Those are my tax. I'm a working goddamn American. I've worked my whole fucking life. Since the age of 14, I had a job paying taxes. And those are my taxes too, and I want them to go to those things. So quit acting like you own the Bank of America, bitch. I'm on that fucking account too. It's not the MAGA bank. It's the Americans' tax dollars, and we're included in that. So eat shit. Sorry. God damn. God damn. I'm angry all the time, friends. I'm so angry all the time. And I know you are too. Just mind blown at the idiocy that is occupying what used to be the most powerful government in the world. And it is being occupied by fucking Nazis. By fucking Nazis. Nazis, Nazis, Nazis. And I will remind any motherfucker, any one of you MAGAs, this is history repeating itself. You guys freaked out over the replacement theory bullshit that got spread around by dumb shit, mediocre men with microphones, just pushing this replacement theory. And by doing so, you caused people to lose their lives because unstable men with weapons decided they wanted to do something about it. I mean, the level of fucking idiocy. It eats away at my soul, I feel. Because I'm watching it happen. And look, if Donald Trump was a shitty person, so be it. But if he came in and did good things, I would admit to that. I will admit when he does things that are good. I have before. But my God, it's so few and far between. Nothing the man does is good for the American people. You can't write bills for Nazis and act like every American is happy with your Nazi behavior, your Nazi beliefs. We don't want all brown people gone. We don't want to erase DEI or the history of what America did to slaves. We don't want to erase those things. And you are just blanket whitewashing everything, and it's eating away at my soul. I hate them. I hate them all with a passion, with gusto. I hate them all. Now let's talk about this tweet from Elon Musk. Let's talk about it. Elon Musk reposted a tweet from another Nazi to Nazi. The world's richest man amplified the campaign led by conservative U.S. influencer Ben Shapiro. On his social media, he called on President Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin, the man who murdered George Floyd. And Nazi Musk retweeted it and said, "This is something to think about." Now, this is from my law enforcement background, the things that I know about politics and law. He was charged with state crimes and federal crimes, both very similar. And I believe the state crime had one more. He's serving, I don't know. I forget what he's serving. 22 and a half years at state level. And I don't know if the federal charges run concurrent or consecutively, which means are the 22 years for state crimes and the 20-something years for the federal crimes, are they running at the same time? Or does he have to do 22 years and then 22 more? I'm not sure. It doesn't say. But what I can tell you is that even if Trump pardoned him on federal charges, he would still be serving for the state, and he cannot undo those. He cannot overturn state charges. Unfucking believable. The man murdered George Floyd, murdered him in cold blood, in broad daylight, with a group of people surrounding him, just kneeled on the man's neck and killed him in cold blood. And these Nazis are like, yeah, that's getting, yeah. Breaking news. That's not breaking news. Sorry. I get alerts on my phone all day, which is probably where the fire and fury that sits in the pit of my belly comes from every fucking day. Oh, so. I'm trying. So if you see this video skip from time to time, I can cut out the F word in my transcripts and it'll block it out of the video. I am absolutely disgusted with the American people. Oh, sorry. And I want you all to know, the people who voted for Trump, when you lose your jobs, when you lose your farms, when your kid loses their Medicaid and you lose your Medicare or Social Security, when your 401ks tank, when Nana gets kicked out of the nursing home, when all of these horrible things happen, I want you to know that I am laughing at you. We are watching it all go down. We told you that it would happen. We told you what was in Project 2025. And you deserve every hardship that comes your fucking way. You deserve the worst of the worst. I hope you lose your house. I hope you lose everything. Because good people who voted the right way, who voted to save democracy, who voted for other people besides themselves, the people who voted to save Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and reach out our hands in aid across the world to protect our own borders. You voted against those people and they voted for you. So if they're going to lose it, God damn it, you better too. And tweeting, oh my God, I'm losing my job. Somebody call the president, call the Elon Musk, tag everyone, my wife. Fuck you. Fuck you. I hope she does lose her job, and I hope like hell you lose everything. Because of who you voted for. Because he's doing it to you. You know that? This isn't just some dance thing. This is a man doing this to you. A president taking away your livelihood. Which he said he was going to do. Everyone's acting like, we didn't know this was going to happen. We didn't know this. It was written down in long form in Project 2025 that you all said was a Democratic plot to get people on our side. How does it feel now? That bitch is available on the Heritage, whatever they're called, Heritage Foundation's website. You could print off the book. You could print it off. Project 2025, right there, all of it for you to read. It was right there in black and white the whole time. We sent you links. We told you it was real, and you still wouldn't go to the links because you didn't want to believe it. Now you're going to believe it. Now you're going to fucking believe it. When your wife loses her fucking job, your kids kicked off your fucking insurance, when you're an LGBTQ person banging the drum of MAGA and your marriage is annulled, you're kicked off your husband or your wife's insurance, the adoption of your children is now fucked because you simped for a fucking Nazi. You deserve every bad thing that happens to you, and then some. And I've never been like this. I have always voted and to protect the people, even the dumb ones who vote against their own interests. Always. I would have never wished this sort of thing on anybody. But you need to feel it. You need to feel what that is inside you when your government takes away something from you. And then you'll realize how badly it feels. Being an LGBTQ person, it's been happening to us our entire existence. Black people, their entire existence. But you MAGAs, you need to feel what hardship is and what it feels like when the government takes away your livelihood, freedoms from you. You need to know. Because no, there's no other way we're going to get you to see what's been happening. So, with that, friends, I'm going to check out. I want you to remember always, I am taking care of myself. I get a lot of people saying, Jess, please make sure you're doing something that makes you happy. And my family is my grounding, my center point. So I do spend a lot of time with them. I want you guys to know that I love you. You have been the most amazing community. And I will continue to be a voice for as long as I'm allowed. Remember to treat everyone with kindness because everybody's going through something right now, unless they're MAGA. If they're MAGA, then maybe just go the other way. Don't get involved. Because at this point, we don't know what we're going to do or say, right? If you're a transgender individual, I'm sickened over what this government is doing to you. And I just want you to know you are loved. So please stay with the people who support you. Find support groups. There's no reason to check out of this life because of a government, because the government is taking away your rights. I've been there. I've watched the American people vote against my equality my whole life, so I know. I don't know everything, but I do know that it hurts. But this too shall pass. We're going to keep fighting for you, for us, for actual freedom, to keep our democracy intact. At the end of every video, I try to remind you to find community, in-person community. Start a book club, start a knitting club, find people of like mind, reach out. You're going to need each other for whatever comes our way. Stay on top of the news. Keep educating the people in your life, and keep calling those Republican senators and reminding them that history is going to know you for what you've done, for the things you've said, the bills you've signed, the side you took. And remind them every chance you get that voting alongside a Nazi makes you a Nazi. All right, friends, make it a good week. Fight for freedom, fight for fairness, fight for democracy. Much love.